All right, back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing yet another beer from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're out of both Brooklyn and Rochester, New York. And this is their double dry hop Stacks on Stacks, the experimental version. So this is what they are calling an Imperial India Pale Ale, coming in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is exactly 3 weeks old. So I have reviewed double dry hopped Stacks on Stacks on the channel, and I love that beer. I think I gave it a 4.5. I've actually had it a couple different times, and when I saw that they released this one, I was like, I gotta grab it. So when I went to a recent Other Half release, they had this, and yeah, I picked it up. So anyway, they call this the experimental version, which I don't know what that means. They said on their website that they're experimenting with Citra and Mosaic in this one. Well, the base one is brewed with Citra, Mosaic, and Dorado. So I don't know if they're using like an experimental version of Citra and Mosaic or whatever that might entail. But yeah, anyway, I want to say one thing, full disclosure, as I always say when I've had a beer before. I've had this beer before. I actually had it at the Well and Piss Up, which was the bottle share the night before the 2019 Albino Rhino Beer Fest. And yeah, I had a 2-ounce pour of this, and it was towards the end of the night, and I was pretty schmammered. So I remember liking this one. I remember on my Untapped check-in, I just said, I really like this one, as far as I can tell. But I'm glad I have another can to review because I don't remember anything about it other than I enjoyed it. So yeah, I have a can here. We're gonna crack it open. We're gonna pour it. And hopefully it's just as good as I remember it being, even though I remember nothing about it. So, yeah, it's pouring out like so many other half beers. One thing I remember about Stacks on Stacks was it wasn't as like turbid and murky as the rest of Other Half beers. I think I reviewed that during Other Half Week last summer, about a year ago, and it wasn't as hazy as I thought it would be. But this one has a little bit more haze. Now this has more of a closer to like honey color, has some orange in there, a little bit of yellow, but more of like I always say orange honey. I have to stop saying orange honey, but it's orange honey. Anyway, has about a half finger of a, off-white, I'd say, very creamy looking head. And yeah, it's very turbid. This looks more murky and turbid than the regular double dry hop Stacks on Stacks, which I had. So anyway, let's get a nose. Ooh, that smells different. Now, as far as I remember about this beer, I didn't look at my review from last year, but I want to say I remember having like a big honeydew vibe to this one, and like some spiciness and stuff in the base, not the experimental, because again, I've never had this one aside from a 2-ounce pour at a bottle share a couple weeks ago. But yeah, this has honeydew melon. It has a fleshy melon, maybe honeydew, maybe a little bit of cantaloupe, a little bit of like a nondescript red berry. Pineapple? Yeah, this has a lot of tropical fruit, a lot of fleshy fruit, like a papaya. I mentioned before about papaya. For me, papaya doesn't have like a huge distinct characteristic. For me, it's just a fleshy like fruit, like almost like a fleshy melon. Very similar to honeydew. It has mild flavors to me, but it's all about the, I guess, texture of the fruit itself. And I'm getting like papaya, honeydew in here. You know, honeydew, papaya, a little bit of cantaloupe. Ooh, getting more crushed pineapple. As this is opening up in the glass, I'm getting sweeter characteristics to this one. And there is a little bit of like herbaceous spiciness to this too, like a little bit of earthiness, but that's kind of dying out, and this is all like juicy fruit qualities. I'm actually picking up a little bit of alcohol at 8.5%, which is a rarity when it comes to Other Half for me. Yeah, it smells really good. It smells like fleshy fruits. I want to get into it, so cheers everyone. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Yeah, honeydew melon, a little bit of nondescript red berry, papaya, a little bit of guava. Fleshy fruits is the best way to describe this one on the palate for me, and pretty much in the nose. Mouthfeel, the body is really nice on this. This is like higher side medium body. This actually has a little bit of thickness behind it. The body, it's Other Half. What does that mean? It just means it's very soft, smooth, somewhat creamy. Probably using a shit ton of oats. No lactose in this one, but it doesn't need it. The body's, superb. Yeah, it's really soft and smooth. Almost slightly undercarbonated to some extent. Like it doesn't look like it, but it just, on the palate, it's so soft and smooth. But yeah, the flavors are honeydew melon, papaya, crushed pineapple, a little bit of like a cantaloupe. It's just, like I said, fleshy fruits. As it passes through the palate, the one thing I do remember now I'm thinking about this, and as it's sitting on my palate and finishing, this has more of a moderate bitterness than most of Other Half's beers just in general. They're hop forward beers. This actually has a slightly resinous pine, almost like herbaceous dankness on the back of the palate. This is moderately bitter. This might be one of those beers, I feel anyway, that if you really like Other Half because they don't, bring the bitterness for most of their New England style IPAs, because that's kind of what the style entails, you might not care for that too much in this one, but I enjoy and welcome the moderate bitterness of this one. I do remember liking, that sip, that was like pure honeydew, which was really nice. I do remember liking the base maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I like the base a little bit better, but only slightly. I think the mouthfeel and body are better in this one. In the base, I think that was a little bit lacking, but I think the flavors in the base were a little bit more vibrant and bold and in your face. This is kind of subdued a little bit from the base. So, rating wise on this one, this is really delicious. That body and mouthfeel are just superb. I think the base I gave it 4.5. I think I like that a little bit better. I can't go quite to 4.5. So what I'll do is I'll give this a high 4.25 out of 5. So we'll go double dry hop, stacks on stacks from Other Half, the experimental version. Totally the experimental version. I'm going to give it a high 4.25 out of 5. We'll go 4.3 out of 5, or 4.35 out of 5 for this. I think it's really good. It's very well made. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. And if you've had this and the base, what do you think are the differences? Are there any differences? Which one do you like better? Price point on this one, I believe it was $20 a 4-pack, so you're talking $5 a can, brewery only. I think that's pretty good value. That's pretty much the going rate, right, for most New England style IPAs. This is New England style double IPA, or they call it Imperial IPA. This is 8.5%. So, 4-pack of this, you're going to get fucking hammered, pretty quickly. So I'm going to drink the rest of this and enjoy every second of it. So once again, double dry hop stacks on stacks, the experimental version from Other Half, 4.35 out of 5. If you've had this one, let me know what you think about it, like I said, and appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one, oh yeah, almost forgot. I actually almost cheersed, 8.5%. I was getting a little bit of alcohol in the nose. The only thing I can feel, like, as far as drinking is there's a warming into the chest, but like on the palate, no. They do a phenomenal job. What else is there to say? Anyway, cheers.